You're listening to an InfoBlitz LLC podcast network production.
Welcome to the weekly wrap-up with John and Yancy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the weekly wrap-up with John and Yancy. My name is John Haynes, and I am joined by my co-host who is on location in Hawaii, Yancy Seals.
Greetings from Waikiki, Honolulu, Hawaii, you guys. Honolulu, malula, na 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 ho, da, do, ho, do. I don't know what that means, but that's how they sound.
Yeah, man, I love Hawaii. For y'all who don't know, I lived there for 22 years. I consider it home. I have a lot of good friends there. But how you enjoying it out there, brother?
It is amazing. Check this out, John. Check this out.
You're freezing. Oh, man, you're freezing. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I miss that. Brother, I know exactly where you are, and I miss that. I miss that. You know what, man? Tell me this. Okay, when I was there, brother, there's a peaceful feeling in your soul. When I went there the first time, I was like, man, I'm going back. It's very peaceful and
I mean, that's probably the best way you can describe it. It's very, very peaceful, especially when you get away from the resort and the hustle and bustle, and get out of the, I guess the regular area. I guess the tourist trap.
Get out the tourist trap area, and you get into the regular areas, man. If you get to the other side of the island and go to the Polynesian Cultural Center in Laie, bro, North Shore, whoo! It's I could go to the North Shore and just hang, bro. Matter of fact, we are planning a company trip there sometime next year. We are planning it, and we're trying to get a house. We're going to get a house on the North Shore, right? It's just wonderful, man. And so that's one thing. But I'm telling you, man, Hawaii that's my home state, and it's one of the wonderful places to live. I'm telling you, man, I love it there. And I'm glad you're there. I'm glad you're there.
I'm sure. I'm late in this process. I'm just getting here. I'm 65, but I'm sure the people who are out there who if you haven't been, come on, enjoy yourself. You'll enjoy it. Won't forget it.
You will never forget it. You will never forget it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. We're getting ready to be joined by the drone guy. Here he is, the drone guy, Leland Sparks. You are, man.
How y'all doing?
Wonderful, man.
I'm doing great.
Yancy, you in Hawaii, man.
I am on location, man.
I love
InfoBlitz on location, brother.
Hey, man, this is a world class. This is a world class organization. This InfoBlitz.
It is a world-class organization.
Yes. It definitely is. Speak those things, brother. Speak those things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. And I'm really glad that you joined, man. It's early in the morning there. It's what 6 something, right?
No, it's 9:30. Oh, no, for Yancy, no.
6:30.
It's 6:30. In Hawaii, it's 6:30.
Yeah.
There's
6:34.
It's 3-hour difference from the West Coast and 6 from the East Coast. Man, I'm so happy. Look, this makes my day. I know I got you on, I got Yancy on. Oh man, when Yancy texted me, I was like, are you kidding? We taping, by the way. Are you kidding me? I said yes.
We in 3 different time zones.
That's right.
Yeah, you know what? You are right.
Yep.
I'm East Coast, you West Coast. I'm East Coast, Leland is West Coast, and Yancy is in Pacific time in the islands. That's right, in Hawaii.
I'm in paradise.
Yeah, well, guess what?
It is paradise.
Come home.
Yeah. Or you gonna do what I did when I went there the first time. I'm going back to stay. I'm done. I'm going back to stay. I love that place, man. I literally love that place. I love Hawaii. Literally, it's one of the best places I've ever been in my life, man. So you know what? I want to jump into something that just happened in Minneapolis. What is it? Merrick Garland just gave us findings of a 2-year investigation on the Minneapolis Police Department, and it was it's a damning indictment, man. And he's got like there's 28 counts of negligence, and they broke the Title VI and the First and the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. Not once, not twice, several times. And he also brought up the fact that Chauvin, this wasn't his first time doing that. Other officers reported that he had abused people before, and he had someone in a chokehold or something saying that they couldn't breathe, and he said, "Of course you can breathe. You're talking to me now." Tell me what y'all think about that.
Well, I'm very honest with you. This was about a few years ago, and I actually remember the case all that plainly, but I do have remembrance of it. John, this is an epidemic that's been going on, and it's been going for a long time. And I'm glad someone finally found the cojones, if you will. I'm surrounded by people out here. The cojones to go ahead and do something about this problem that's been plaguing the departments for years, man. It is time. So hooray to Merrick Garland on this.
Absolutely. I really I appreciate it, and I think that if there's going to be an independent person that's going to oversee it, and I really think that we should have an independent independent board above most police departments, especially when it comes down to excessive force, or when they kill someone, or when they have to kill somebody, because another set of eyes, civilian eyes, to me would be great. I'm not always against the police. I'm former law enforcement. There are a lot of people, let's just make this really plain. There are a lot of people out there who are doing a hard-ass job and are doing it well, okay? There's a very few percentage who are not doing it well, and they're the ones that get all the hype, and they get all the media. But I believe that as an institution, law enforcement needs to be overseen.
Yes.
Honestly, it's systemic if you think about it, because depending on the politics of the day, if you have a Merrick Garland, then you look into these issues and you issue those those findings once they do an investigation. But if you're not in power, then it gets swept back under the rug and nobody does anything about it, no matter how much you moan and bitch and gripe. It just gets swept away. But if you go from East Coast to the West Coast, I would assume that in every major city that it's basically the same thing. So, Merrick Garland is like you say, he's in Minnesota doing his thing in Minnesota. But what about St. Louis, and what about Chicago, and what about, the other places that are basically, doing the same thing? So it's a tough road to hoe to get everybody to come into alignment.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's well said. Yeah, I agree with that. And they did mention the other cities that also have that they had ongoing investigations. I mean, the thing is that just law enforcement as a whole, I believe, needs to be rethought, and we need to have a national level. Not just state by state. I believe there needs to be a national level that they have to come to, and training that they have to obey. The state by state thing is just not working. I mean, the system is failing. We see that on a daily basis most of the time. And it's look, it's a hard ass job, but you're supposed to be trained in order to do that hard ass job, and not reflect your opinions or your biases on the people that you're supposed to be serving or helping. That's just something that has to happen.
But in honesty, the idea of the brutality of the takedown or the last resort of gun violence is what worries me, is because you're supposed to be trained to understand how to defuse a situation. Regardless, nobody's going to get away. I ain't seen nobody on a police chase yet get away. And if there's someone running from you, I ain't seen nobody yet get away. So why is it always the most brutal takedown or the excessive use of force in all the situations that we're looking at? Because that's what it comes down to. It's like, you guys don't have to go that extreme. You can diffuse this. Hey, call somebody up and say, hey, come get this fool out of here. You don't have to be the judge and the jury and the executioner all in the same 5 minutes.
I've
It's
long time
training,
said
man. Go,
I've
go
long
ahead.
time said that if you want to be a cop, you're gonna police the area in which you work. You can't be a cop and go home and go to Corona and go and beat ass in Pomona. That's not happening. You gonna be a cop in Pomona, you live in Pomona. Be a cop in Beverly Hills, you live in Beverly Hills. Wherever the case may be, you work where you police, and then you'll have more standing within the community, more people understand you, more people see you, all that kind of good stuff. And if you
Yep.
do something stupid, they'll come get you.
And that's
They know where
legit.
you are.
And that's
Yeah, it
totally
is.
legit, because again, if you're not in a situation to be harassed and or bothered based on your, whatever you're doing, then you shouldn't have to worry about that. I mean, I'm a firm believer that you put yourself in a situation that leads to where your outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And
No
that
doubt.
is true. I agree that, and with everything we just said here, it's just getting us on a national level to understand that this is what has to happen for us to move forward. Because where we are right now is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
People are only going to take that so much, and it's a recipe for disaster. And I don't want to see the violence in the street. That's just not good. Also, Leland, to go back to your point, it's training. I've been through that training.
Right.
It's training, bro. That's what
my
it
point.
is. They train you to do that. They train you, and then you have to also look at our ego gets involved, but you're supposed to be trained to let that go. It's a job. It's not who you are. Like I used to always think, look, man, this is what you wrote the law. This is it. I don't do the law. They tell you, they talk to you. Oh, why are you doing it? Tell it to the judge, man. You broke the law. But here's the thing: you can't let your ego get involved. Once you let your ego get involved, and at that point, man, it gets ugly. It gets real ugly real quick.
It does.
And see, that's the thing that you just hit on, and that ego thing, because it's hard for officers to back down once they've been once you discuss the situation and we find out that it's really not that bad of a situation, it doesn't need to be escalated. I feel that officers sometimes have a hard time backing up now, and I'm basing this on just doing my drone job. Now, I'm in contact with our drone pilots, and I see the stuff that they're going through. It's like, I'm a certified pilot. I know the laws and the regulations. I'm familiar with the FAA, yet you have an officer that wants to come and harass you over a flight area that has no training, has no idea, has no legitimacy with regards to what's going on, yet he's going to try and tell you what you can and can't do. Well, you're not educated in that particular field. So if I tell you this is what's going on, unless you have a rule of law that you know better than I do, then you need to back up and go handle something else, and then go educate yourself, so that when you do approach the drone pilot who's flying in legitimate airspace, you understand that he has every right to do that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Wow.
A lot of times, yeah, no, that's a good point. A lot of times, the majority of the times, most of the police officers, and especially the ones I've seen, and even the ones I've worked with, if it's outside, most of them don't even know the law half the time. To be honest with you, they do not know the law. What they're thinking, they see something, they go like, okay, well, yeah, they might know what a robbery is, they know what a murder is, they know, but when you're supposed to know all these things in the PC code. Nobody knows the big PC code books. But the thing is that when they put themselves in a position where it's like, I'm the authority, you're going to do what I say. Okay.
Right.
That's where they start to lose. When I used to approach a situation, and I've seen good officers approach a situation, they'll be like, hey, what's going on, man? So explain to me what's happening. What's going on here? Let the person explain to them what's going on, instead of telling them, now, do me a favor, man. Don't put your hands in your pockets. Okay. That makes me nervous. Or something like that, because I don't know what you got in your pockets, and I'm not going to search you, but I'm going to trust that you can keep your hands in your pocket, instead of like, keep your hands on your, put them up in there. See, it's just how you approach things. It's how you approach it.
Well, my immediate question is why would the cop come out and harass Leland for flying the drone? Did someone call and say, hey, there's this guy, this tall dude out here. He's about 6'2", 6'3". He out here taking pictures. I don't know what he's doing. Can you come check him out? Is that what happened?
That's what normally happens, is like, people don't know about the airspace. They don't know that it's public. They don't have any clue whatsoever, but all they do is they see, a pilot or a guy with the drone flying, and they don't like it, or they don't understand it, or basically they're fearful of it. Again,
Yeah,
education removes the fear. If you're educated about, hell, well, he's in airspace, he's in a public area, there's no need in me to be concerned about it at all, because I mean, you don't go out specifically to stare at somebody's house or in their backyard. You're basically just flying around.
That's the issue. That's what some people are doing, and that's
Right.
I think why they have these concerns. But I for some reason I'm thinking it's not just that. It's other reasons. So I don't know.
Well, again, you know, if I hadn't been in the drone community for the last 5 years, and then looking at what has transpired from me personally doing what I love to do, then I wouldn't have been able to convey that this is what I see and this is what's happening.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Because this is something that I look at, because I'm fearful of it. You know, I normally, people will ask me what I'm doing, and I'll tell them I'm a licensed pilot, and here's my, you know, my certifications, and here's my registration, and that's the end of it. But when I go online and I discuss and talk to this, you know, other guys, or see what other guys are doing, some of these officers that they run into are just the worst, and it's just almost frightening to see that a simple drone flight could escalate into an arrest.
Yeah, and it easily, and it could.
And it doesn't have to.
No, it doesn't. The thing is that unless you're flying in my backyard or over my house, right? You know, what can I, or over, like if I see you buzzing in somebody's window, then I'm gonna have a problem. But if you up there doing your thing, and I ain't gonna have a problem with that. But I think, and also you have to realize that a lot of times the police, when they approach people, they're not trained to approach people in a, how can I say it, nice manner. It's or they, right. You know, they're always like, okay, you're the authority, make sure that you maintain control of the situation. And these are words that, you know, they've taught them: maintain control of the situation. You don't let them take control, because, and that's just craziness. But you're right. And I like that you wear you wear a jacket that says FAA pilot on it, which is something that if I approach you, I'd be like, yo, excuse me, yo, you FAA pilot? Yeah, you got an ID? All right, cool. And I'm gone. Because it's not, you know, okay, I'm gone. Unless you buzz in somebody's house, I'm out.
Right.
Right. So, and you know what, over there, I mean, you know what, I'm gonna tell you something, man. In Hawaii, I have met the best police officers I've ever had in my life. Seriously, these guys over there are pretty cool. So, if everybody's done, we're gonna move on. We're gonna have to hit the 37 felony accounts from your former president.
What?
You know. Yeah, right. And I didn't want to talk about the whole show about it, but yeah, this fool 37 felony accounts, and then of the espionage, maintaining confidential documents and then refusing to return them. This is insane. And the insane part, and the reason why I say that our system is failing us, is that this individual who has been indicted twice now, who has been impeached twice now, can still run for office of the president.
That doesn't make sense. I have a real problem, and you know what? She has a good chance in winning that as well. A good chance. It's a good chance.
Oh yeah.
Now, so my question is how do you handle G7, G8, G8 issues from a jail cell?
You know,
it's astounding. It's astounding that people will back him without actually reading the document. Please just read the document. Educate yourself as to what the charges are, because if you look at Snowden, and then you look at this guy that just was arrested, not the kid that was just putting stuff out there, both of those guys were dragged out by the FBI immediately for basically what they were doing. And then the government has been extremely cordial with regards to the ex-president basically doing the same thing. I mean, I saw an interview the other day where, Kid Rock was talking to some guy where Kid Rock had indicated that he was in the Oval Office talking to the president. The president had, he had maps of Iran, and an attack thing, he was showing it to him and asking him, what did you think on North Korea, or what did you think on Iran? And it was like, how in the hell can you show this to a non-certified person and then ask him these type of questions as though he's some type of an authority? So again, when you have that on tape, indicating that he was exposed or privy to information that he had no right to see, that's an indictment on itself. That again, you are not taking the importance of the nation's security in whole. You're boasting about it. You're saying I got this and I got that, but that's not for you to do. And that's what bugs me, is that people won't even read the indictment.
No, no, yes, you speak on that because you've been through a security clearance to be in the White House. Speak on what you have to go through in order to just be in the White House.
Yeah, first of all, there is what it's called. It's a 2877, I think it is, something like that. Yeah, I might have the numbers incorrect, but this is the form you have to fill out in order to even get a clearance. And then once that form is completed, then they start doing the investigation in the background on you. There is a certain process in declassifying documents. Can the president declassify without the document? Yes, but the document has to follow at some point. Anytime you're looking at any kind of classified documents, top secret, whatever classification it is, there is a SCIF area that you must go to. You must be in a
Explain
SCIF.
What a SCIF is. Explain what a SCIF is, because people don't know.
A SCIF is a certain location deemed where you can operate and read and look at classified documents. It's a secured location, basically. And I've been out of government for a little while. I just forget some of those acronyms, but it's a secured location.
No, it's
So
cool.
it's
You're
not
right.
a bathroom.
It's not a bathroom. It's not a storage unit. And actually, in order to go into a SCIF, and I've only been in one once, and only to be in a SCIF, you have to have they made sure everything was out of my pockets. I couldn't bring in no pen, no paper, nothing. You just go in there and you read whatever. And this was actually for corporate, but it was a sensitive corporate document that and that's what we had to do. And I'm pretty sure that's what you guys had to do too. The thing is, man, is that you have people that like Leland said, that does not read the document. I put that document on Facebook as soon as I got it. Right, I put it on Facebook. Here, read the damn document. The document by himself is an indictment. The document by himself is like, dude, did you have this stuff in your home? Did you have this stuff? There's pictures of it. Yeah, really? That right there, you're guilty. Okay, did you wave this thing around and give it to people who didn't have classification or certification or a security clearance, right? Yes, you did. Okay, so I don't even understand why people are saying, oh, well, it's okay because he can. And another thing, you can't just think about declassifying a document and declassify it. Yeah. And also there's also a tape of him saying, I can't declassify it now, right? Because I'm not president.
So he knew better.
Yeah, he admits it. So what they're saying now is they want to try to say that the evidence that they have that comes from his lawyer was illegal. Okay, so it can't be admitted into court. And that's the argument that that's what they're going to argue. My thing is this has gone beyond a little, you stole something, you didn't steal something. This is our national security that this guy has.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Now, I don't know if you guys noticed that in the pictures, it was pointed out that there was an actual copy machine in there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys notice that? Yes.
Yeah,
in the pictures, they highlighted a copy machine in the building. In the same room, in the same storage room, there was a copy machine. And the other thing that people are forgetting is the fact that as they rail against what happened is, again, the government is extremely cordial. They've been trying to get these documents back for over a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Man.
I mean, how many times do we have to say, turn them into us and we're good to go? Now, the stories that I've been following indicate that his attorneys who continually quit and drop out have been advising him to just turn everything back in, but his conservative base was telling him he could do anything that he wanted to. So you gotta, sometimes you gotta grow up and understand that there is legalese that you need to abide by versus a wish list of what you want to do. I want to do a lot of things, but legally I can't do those things. So I need to follow the legals, because if I don't, then I get to go to the Gray Bar Motel.
Ooh. The Gray Bar Motel. I like that. The Gray Bar Motel. I like that analogy. Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing, man. The people that really that are following Donald Trump, what they want is an authoritarian government. Okay, they want an authoritarian. They want someone that's in total control, and that's basically what they're trying to, what they're fighting. What the fascists are fighting for is an authoritarian government. They do not want democracy. They'll tell you they want democracy, but they don't want democracy. They want an authoritarian government. They're telling me that, oh, well, we're treating him like everybody else. The hell you are. No, you're not.
No, you ain't.
If you would not be getting a call saying, would you please cordially come in on Tuesday to turn yourself in to be arrested? That doesn't happen, man.
And the thing about every letter that they sent him, I'm sure they put pretty please on it. Pretty please. Pretty please.
I mean, and then they're like, and then again, the Republican base, they're saying that, well, this is Joe Biden, and it was on Fox News. This is Joe Biden attempting to arrest the person that is going to be his rival in the next election. This investigation started way before Trump even decided to run for office, way before that, and the reason why they went to the special counsel is so they can't say that Biden is involved, right? Merrick Garland's not involved, and this is a special dude. He's by himself. He's independent.
In all honesty, what's going on is the departments that the United States has placed in charge of certain things are doing their job.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with doing your job. I don't need my boss to look over my shoulder to tell me if I'm doing my job, yes or no. He knows because that's what he hired me to do. Now, I'm going to go over here and handle my business over here because, again, they're doing their jobs, and their jobs are to protect America and to protect the American way of life and to secure documents and things of this nature. So when you are in power and you can put people in that will look the other way, going back to the police, then you expect stuff to run rampant. But if you are in charge and you have people that are in there that are actually fulfilling the job requirements, then they're going to work within those standards. And see, right now, the DOJ is working within those standards. Yes, it's the Biden administration, but the DOJ is supposed to be independent of all of that.
Right.
They're doing their jobs.
The problem we have, you guys, is that people, again, like I'm going to amplify what Leland said earlier, they're not reading the document. They don't want to read the document. They want to be told exactly what's in that document.
Right.
Now, here's the biggest issue, what the security is that Leland, you have a son in the Navy who can be called out for some bogus matters he's done, and who can get killed, and he can be out on the water some damn where, and he told people where the ships are. They can get hurt. I had a son in the military, the same thing, and you gotta look at the totality of this thing, how it can affect everyone, not just, oh, I don't care, the national security. It's about the national security for everyone, even our children in these military uniforms.
People put their lives at risk, in danger every day of the week, protecting this nation. Okay, the people that got the information that he had, right, which is something that people don't think about. The information that he had, the pictures, look at that, man. The pictures that he had, okay, and what he showed people was taken by satellites, and the positioning of these satellites that they may not even know where these satellites didn't know where they were. This is the thing that you're exposing. All of our, look, here's this satellite right here. We got this, so that they can backtrack it and say, well, they must have a satellite right over here. They must have some kind of something over here. He's actually putting our country at risk, and people that they don't get it. And not just that, our military, the people that are in the military, he's putting these people at risk, unnecessary risk. Okay, and it really bothers me.
Not only do they have, like you say, you're looking at the electronic stuff, but there's boots on the ground gathering information.
That's right.
And those boots on and those assets on the ground need to be protected. They're putting their lives on the line in countries we got no clue about, trying to assess where we have potential for destruction, where we have potential for breaches, where we have potential. So to have that information and then to threaten to let this information out puts all the boots on the ground, not only just the guys that are in their uniforms, but the guys who are not in uniform that are doing the things that we need to do to keep this country safe.
Yeah,
You know,
I believe the reason why he didn't want to turn that stuff in because he had already allocated either he received the money already or he's going to get that stuff sold out to somebody. That's why
dude,
he
you
never
are
returned it.
spot on,
See,
Yancy.
and
Spot
that's the
on. Like I
point.
said,
That's the point,
spot
Yancy.
on.
Spot on. Spot on. The question to me, the first question that came in my mind was, why the hell did you have these documents?
Mhm.
You know, oh, I can have them. I can have them. No, first off, you can't. Secondly, and if you did, when they ask him for it back, you're supposed to give it to him. But why did you have those particular documents?
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
Right.
that's the problem that I have. That's the problem that now.
Right.
I honestly believe, I think Yancy brought it up last week. I honestly believe that he showed these documents to someone, you know, or
Same
he,
here.
again, he sold it to somebody, or
Yep.
here, you know, or he was holding it as a get out of jail free card or something like that. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, this is something that you know, to me is just totally disturbing. And the most disturbing part is that he's going to have the judge that he appointed, right? The
Oh.
judge that has already showed themselves to be biased toward him, ruling over this case.
That's just at the beginning, because right now that this is a test. This is a test right now, because again, remember, she was overridden and put in her place by the 11th Circuit Court or whatever it was.
Yeah,
And
it
two
was
of the
11.
nominees on the 11th Circuit, I believe, are Trump appointees as well. And right now they're playing this game where they're going to find out if she's going to recuse herself. And if she doesn't, then guess what? The 11th court is going to come back in again saying that you have probability of bias, and they're going to kick her to the curb. That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking. I
I
mean,
hope
they
so.
set this whole thing up in Florida so that there would be no bias of the liberal Washington group trying to say anything about it, because your jury's going to be from Florida. A judge was set in Florida, and we're going to let the Floridians figure this out. If they can back this man for knowing what he's doing, playing a shell game. I mean, you have the espionage, showing stuff that you shouldn't be showing is espionage. And then you have the shell game of over a year of hiding documents. They've got it on video. They've got it every place. So again, there's so much insurmountable. There could not possibly be a way that he can wiggle this out of all 37 of these counts, because it's just there. It's just there. Stevie wanted to see this.
The former AG said even if they get half of it, he's toast.
He's done.
Right.
He's done. If they get even one part of it, it requires jail time, and that's the whole thing.
No,
so I mean, and again,
correct that. I understand. I thought I heard a reporting say that there is no specific jail time for this specific jail time for this particular crime. In other words, Eileen Hannigan say, okay, house arrest or I forgot the exact word, but yeah, house arrest or no jail time.
You know,
No,
and here's
I don't believe that.
Again, if that happens, I'm really, like what Leland said, this is a test. It's a test of our judicial system. It's a test of our Constitution. Okay, if he is not held accountable for this, and if he is held accountable for this, if he doesn't do jail time for this, this is bad. This is really bad for us as a country. This is huge, really bad for us as a country. I'm telling you, it's just not good. It's not good.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I have full faith that the judicial system will work. Now, the other thing is, worrying about him running. When you have, 10 candidates for the Republican Party, and they can't garner any type of base, but you have the fanatics, of course, he would be the front runner. But in actuality, even as a front runner, I doubt that his 30% would ever, trump Biden at this particular time, or whoever it comes out of the Democratic Party. Only because I've talked to, some people who are staunch Republicans or, Trump supporters. And the wife actually came in from one of the, seeing some friends that were staunch Trump supporters, and they completely abandoned him at this time because they say they can't stand the fact that all the negativity and the probability of this indictment have just turned them off to the possibility that he could lead this country in any way, shape, or fashion. Because when you look at everything that you hear him speaking about, it's always about what was stolen. Not once have I heard anybody on that side say what they're going to do to make things better. Can you at least tell me, or go on a track where you say, I'm going to help education, I'm going to help Medicare, I'm going to help this? All I hear is it was stolen, it's a fascist, it's a hoax, it's a witch hunt. This is 3 or 4 years into this crap, and I still haven't heard you stand on anything that is beneficial to the American people. All you want to do is get empowered. All he wants to do is get empowered so that he can vindictively go after people and just make their lives hell for no reason, which does not benefit the American people. What are you doing?
He's already said. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. He's already said that he is going to retaliate. He's already said that if I get in office, I'm going to hire one of my investigators to investigate them and da 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 da. So it's going to, if he gets in office, it's going to be nothing more than an authoritarian government going after the people who are trying to legally hold him accountable. And that's the reason why. Is he going to win the Republican nomination? I totally believe so. Okay. I just don't see anybody else. And to be honest with you, I don't have nothing against Chris Christie, except for his politics right now. Okay. The rest of the guys, I think they're all jokes, but he's not going to get any traction because he's not out there towing the line saying that he wants to do this, wants to do that, woke this, woke that. And that's what they want. That's what the Republican base. But according to what I read, that it's a small portion, which I don't believe, of the Republican Party. Now, I believe there are some people who are Republicans that, when I was a Republican, that believes that, hey, you know what, this is way too far for us, you know. And the people that I've talked to, they're like, this is way too far for us, man. I don't even know if I'm going to vote, to be honest with you, because I can't vote for Biden. Not me. This is what that was told to me. I can't vote for Biden, so I don't even know if I'm going to vote if it comes down to it. And I'm like, well, you know what? To me, if you don't vote, that's fine, as long as you don't vote for him, because this is a problem that this country will never, ever overcome. It will be the totally destruction of this country. I believe so.
Yeah. You know, again, it bugs me when I hear like guys like DeSantis and that are banning books and banning things. I mean, you know, Hitler banned books and they had book burnings and lack of education. I mean, I know the idea is to keep us dumb and stupid so we can't make educated assumptions and educated anything about regards to what's going on in the world. But it's bad that just the mere thought of banning a book drives me nuts, because I can still see those old films, you know, back in the 30s and stuff, where they were having massive book burnings as they were, you know, marching goose step down the damn street, and that's unacceptable.
Where did he learn that? Where did he learn that? Where did he learn that?
Learn that in school.
That's what I have to ask everybody. He learned that in the United States. He learned that from the eugenics community in the United States. Time magazine ran a huge article on him, saying that he was a eugenics person that was wonderful. Hitler was here in the United States. They taught him what he did in Europe. We have to remember that. And those people who taught him that are still, nowadays, are still in power. They're still here.
Yep. They're still here.
So this is what he's doing. Go ahead, Yancy.
But Tim Scott said there is no systemic racism in the United States. I don't understand.
Time out, Coach.
Tim Scott, man, look, Tim Scott is living. Tim Scott is I've met people like him. I know a guy named Roosevelt that's like him. Tim Scott is living in a world where if he could, look, guys, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. Back me. Tim Scott is ridiculous. Okay, telling people that there is no systemic racism means that he is not in touch with the program. Perhaps he was one of the lucky ones. Like he said, there's no lucky ones. Perhaps he was one of the lucky ones. I don't know. Maybe. But to say that there's no systemic racism, and people who say that do not understand the term.
Right. They're completely out of touch with what's going on in the real world. They're completely out of touch. And that's bottom line, because if you can say that with a straight face, something's totally wrong with you with your brown skin.
Man, he's been radicalized and brainwashed. That's what it is.
Correct.
Now, does he stand a chance of winning? Hell no, and he knows that. He knows
That's
that.
right. Yeah. He doesn't, no chance whatsoever. My problem, I'm a little fearful of the DeSantis myself. That's the one I'm a little fearful of.
DeSantis, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
DeSantis, if by some chance Donald Trump gets taken out, like say for instance, if Georgia drops their thing and they just say, okay, done, you're done, okay, DeSantis will be the next one up. And because he's one of the most radical, and yeah, he's another authoritarian that you'd have to pay attention to. I mean, look at Florida. Florida right now, their construction is going down the tubes. I saw a video on it the other day. The construction over in Florida is crazy. It's going down the tubes because they don't have any people working on the construction sites because most of those people were Mexican people or brown people, right? Then the agriculture in the fields, the watermelons and stuff, this stuff is rotten in the fields. There's video of all this stuff that's happening in Florida right now. He wants to transfer that to the United States, to the rest of the United States. You know, that is insane. This is not a recipe for a healthy country. This is a recipe for an authoritarian third world country, basically.
Yeah, again, anybody who fights Disneyland is kind of like, come on. You're fighting Disneyland. Come on. Listen, it's supposed to be a happy place where everybody gets along and everybody has an opportunity. Right. And you want to pick on Disneyland. Now, if you can't see something wrong in this, I don't know what to tell you.
Man, okay, listen, one of my friends, I'm going to make a really plug. One of my friends, Aurelia Williams, who basically is part of she's part of the cast in Parade, who just won 2 Tonys the other night. Anyway, we were talking, she's going to Disneyland, and I said, hey, to Disney World. And I said, Aurelia, listen, man, you know that there's a travel advisory. She said, yeah, I know. I said, the NAACP put out a travel advisory not to go to Florida if you are a brown or black person because it's the dangerous environment.
Yep.
And and she recognized that. She goes, I do recognize that. She goes, we had already made the plans. They'd already did the trip and everything was already there. I feel, I told her, be careful because you got to be careful. You have to think about these things when you're going out to places like that. You got to think about these things also. And I don't want to talk too much. I did talk to Johnny Bean about the sundown towns, and he said because he's a truck driver, he goes everywhere. And Johnny said that that he just stays out of certain areas, and that he did run into some area where people were they didn't say anything to him. He just turned his truck around and left. But yeah, he said they exist. They definitely exist. I'm gonna see that. Look,
it's real. It's real. Yeah. Okay, I have no doubts in my mind. It's real.
Yeah, and if it's on the books, they can use it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean, but this is the country in which we live, guys. This is America. Okay, that's
you're right.
And I honestly have to say, in my heart, I totally believe that the system that we have that's in place is failing us. We got to be able to get on top of this. We got to make amendments. We got to be able to get on top of this, or it's going to get worse instead of better.
Well, let's put it this way. We didn't see any of this until there was a certain individual that came to light.
Until Trump came down that golden escalator.
Exactly, because I consider myself a moderate Democrat, meaning I would love gun control, but I believe you have the right to choose what you do with your own body and things of this nature. Again, everybody should be able to decide for what they need to do. So I'm not too far to the right in the democracy, and I'm not too far to the left. I'm not that way, but there are certain individuals that are on the far side, and those are the ones that are the most spooky, and they are the ones that get fired up the most by the rhetoric of what these new politicians have said. Because we are in our 60s. We grew up from, Eisenhower and Kennedy and Johnson, and they all had their little flaws and good things and flaws and things of that nature. But nobody in my lifetime as a political figure has drawn so much ire, so much negativity, caused so much confusion. And we're thinking this is 5 to 6 years old. So if we can slay that dragon, maybe we can get back to some civility that we had prior to, all of this Trumpism that we're seeing that has, again, it's always on the news because it's so damn out of control.
Yeah. Listen, man. Okay, I was a Republican and Yancy was a Republican. Okay. However, we have to remember that there has been 2 Republican presidents that are criminals. One of them was Richard Nixon, right? I'm not a crook. He was a crook. And the second one we have to remember was Ronald Reagan. Okay, Ronald Reagan, they sold weapons to Iran. They sold weapons that they weren't supposed to. Okay, you got to remember Ronald Reagan made a deal with them not to release the hostages that they had until after the election, so that he could beat Jimmy Carter. Okay.
Well, that was the Shah. That was the Americans put the Shah of Iran in power, and he did all the brutal, negative, miserable things to the Iranian people. Yes, America backed Iran for many, many years up until the Shah was deposed and the Ayatollah took over, and then Jimmy Carter didn't really do anything to oppose the hostage situation that went on for over a year. So when Reagan came to power, Reagan was the big chest out thumping things, talking about the military and all this, and they immediately released the hostages just to make sure that he looked good going forward.
He made a deal. He made a deal with them. He made a deal with them not to release until after he was inaugurated, because he didn't want to lose the election. That I can't get over that, man. I can't get, not only him, that and then you're looking at things like that, and you say, okay, but it's only Trump is only the one who basically thumped it in our face, the American people, and said, hey, look, domestically is what the word I was looking for. He domestically said, you know what, I don't care what anybody says, this is what I'm going to do, right? And he's a thug. Basically, he is a bully and he's a thug. We all went to school, we know what bullies and thugs are, and think about it, that's what he is. But there's been 2 presidents. See, the thing is that we let these guys, we didn't hold them accountable, which opened the door for him to do that. This is what I'm saying.
He's very similar to the Teflon Don, and he's got that type of mentality.
He is Teflon.
What I want to do, but right now, we have the indictment, and we'll have to let this play out. And I have full confidence that the DOJ will be able to convict on more than 1 count. I'm very confident that either the judge will recuse herself or she will be overridden by the 11th Circuit Court, and we'll just continue on down the path. Yes, I believe that he'll probably get the nomination, but I think that he'll get blown out in a landslide because people are just completely tired of his bullshit. And the fact that America needs to focus on America again, and not the fake news, not the witch hunts, not the I never did anything wrong. We need to get back to what made America American. It wasn't divisiveness. It was unity.
That's good. Well said, Leland. Hey, you guys, I got to go. It's great hanging out with you guys.
Man. Show me the sunrise, brother. Yeah, I love that. I miss that
so much. I'm so jealous right now, Yancy. I'm so jealous.
Look at that. Oh, man. See, you making me want to go back home now, man. Look at that. I used to see that every freaking morning, man. I'd wake up every morning and breathe in and look at that going like, yes. I'm
what
telling
island are you
man.
on? What
I'm
island
on
Waikiki.
Waikiki.
Waikiki?
Oahu.
Okay.
He's on Oahu. Yeah, he's on Oahu.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it someplace.
Oahu.
I know I'm not in Vegas.
Get you a lay, man. Get you a lay so you can look official, brother. Get you a nice lay,
No. Go get yourself a Bloody Mary right now. It's early in the morning. It's time for breakfast.
I've already my time has already started already. So
thank you, my brother.
Over here making them. So I'm gonna go ahead and get one.
That's right. All right, man. Listen, Yancy, thank you for joining us, brother, from Oahu, Hawaii. Right, on location with Info Blips on vacation, on location. Thank you very much, my brother. I really appreciate you. You take care and be careful out there, man.
Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
All
Yancy
right.
out. Yancy out from Waikiki.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, man, listen, Leland, dude, the only other thing I want to talk about was Bill Gates going over to China and pledging $50 million for healthcare to bolster their global healthcare initiative in China, and the fact that Elon Musk and what is it, Tim Cook from Apple is going there to meet with Ping also. I think that's really, I don't like the way that feels. I don't like the way that feels. I don't like the way that feels for several different reasons. But to me, it's just you follow the money. And if you follow the money, that's disturbing to me. That is very disturbing.
You know, they say keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer.
Yeah.
So to me, what I'm concerned about is the ramping up of the rhetoric on both sides. One is trying to become the military and economic power, and one's trying to hold on to the military and the economic power. So there's always going to be a little friction. Now, these billionaires have play by a different set of rules that anybody else on the planet can play by, because they can buy their ways in and they can buy their way out very easily. Now, we understand that China has had health issues, again, starting from possibly the coronavirus or whatever it was at the time. And it has been pretty detrimental to society. So if they can honestly go do something about that, I got no qualms, because I'm not really up to date on what their motivation is or what they're doing or how they're doing it. So I'd have to read a little bit more to find out where they fit in and how this is going to work for them. You know what I mean?
I understand. Yeah, I do. My thing is that I've been reading about the agreements and the arrangements, the treaties that were signed with Iran and with Russia and with the part of Europe and China. And I'm concerned about the yen being the United States not being the currency reserve. And that's what I'm concerned about. And I'm seeing them going over there dropping money. So it makes me think that maybe there's some credence to it. I've also been reading about China, actually that group of people taking over the distribution of the oil and trading in the yen, or not trading in the United States green dollar back anymore. And that's the thing that I'm looking at. Is it forecasting? Yes. I'm not, I'm just reading this and I'm looking at these guys going over there, and I have always followed the money. I've always follow the money. And then when they start all of a sudden going over there like that, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I agree with you were saying that, yes, they have a health problem. And China, I did a exhaustive thing on them in college. They've got cities that's called cancer cities, or cancer that basically is nothing but cancer. It's really bad, simply because they wouldn't hold back their industry from doing certain things and polluting their area and that kind of stuff.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'll have to look at that and find out, maybe what they're saying about the purposes of it. But at the same time, the billionaires can step outside the governmental regulations to do what they want to do, however they want to do, because they're looking at their best interests. I mean, Bill Gates has been a philanthropist, as far as I understand, for a very long time. Elon, I think, has built up that reputation of an innovator, but he's still to me like a kid. He's still jumping around and things of that nature. So he makes me more leery than Bill Gates does. I think Gates is a lot more settled down than Elon is, because Elon is just he kind of bugs me a little bit. I'm not sure which direction
he's like a loose
going.
wire. He's like a loose wire, man. He's jumping all around, and he has so much money that he can do basically what he wants. Again, exactly. I want to be in that club. I want to be in that club. That's where I want to be.
The club I want to be on is the club where it's kind of peaceful, because if you allow yourself to get wound up into the rhetoric, then you're burning your hours, you're burning your life over things you have no control over.
No control.
And
no control.
you're and it's just a waste of time. I need people to realize that they need to go enjoy themselves and go have some fun and unplug and to go stick their toes in the ocean or something like that. Have a drink, relax, because you can't get wound up in this stuff. It'll make you crazy. It'll keep you awake at night.
No, that you can't let happen. And I have a solution for that that's coming up. It's going to be called the daily briefing. And basically it's 15 minutes a day, and then you can go about your business and not have to listen to all this stuff. Yeah. It's called the daily briefing. It's going to be coming up, the daily briefing with John Haynes. It'll be coming up shortly. I'm developing it now. And I wasn't planning on talking about it, but I did talk because basically, honestly, people don't have time to, and they shouldn't have to listen to all this stuff on all the time and try to let it, like you said, it will ruin your life. It will basically it will get you to the point where you're negative all the time, and you can't do that. But you have to be informed, especially these days coming up. And the information that we're getting right now, we don't know what it is. We don't know where you have to look at it. People are saying, well, is this real? Is it not real? And with AI, you have to look at it real carefully. I'm going to do that for you, and it ain't going to take you but 15 minutes a day. Listen to it and go like, sounds good. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, because right now everything is panic mode. It's like and fear. Everything is driven by fear, and you just can't be afraid of everything. And you really do need to educate yourself and do your own reading. Do your own reading. Don't listen to what the other person says. You have to read it on your own and then find out if what they're saying matches what you're reading. Because again, banning books, guess what? You're going to listen because you got no books to go reference anything on.
You have nothing to go back on.
So you have to have the books.
And the thing is that they're not teaching these kids, and I have grandkids, they're not teaching them history in school. They're not teaching him accurate history or history in school. And that's the part that's really bad for us. Listen, we're running against the clock right now, man. Listen, Leland, thank you for joining, man. I know, right? And we're gonna thank Yancy, even though he's out there having them in Mai Tai right now on the beach, man. I know he is out there having the Mai Tai, man. I really appreciate him from coming on again. This has been Info Blips. Actually, this has been the weekly wrap up on the Info Blip Network, and I want to thank Leland Sparks, the drone guy, and look him up. He's doing well, and Yancy Seals, he's also doing well too. Look, guys, thank you. We gave you our perspective on what's happening. What's yours, right? What's yours? Leave them in the comments. All right. We thank you guys very much. See you next week. Peace.
Peace.